June 26, 1988, Air France Flight 296Q, an Airbus A320 performing a demonstration flight at an air show in Mulhouse, Habsheim, France, crashed into trees at the end of the runway after a low-altitude flyby. 3 people died and dozens were injured in a crash that became one of the most controversial aviation disasters in history. The A320 was brand new, one of the world's first fly-by-wire commercial aircraft, where computers mediated between pilot inputs and aircraft controls. This was its public debut, a chance to showcase revolutionary technology. The plan was a low, slow flyby over the runway to impress the crowd. Captain Michel Asselin, a highly experienced Air France pilot, was at the controls with hundreds of passengers and crew aboard, mostly Air France employees and their families invited to witness the new aircraft. At approximately 2:45 p.m., the A320 descended to just 30 feet above the runway at very low speed, far lower than the planned 100 feet. As it approached the end of the runway, Captain Asselin attempted to initiate a go-around and climb, but the aircraft didn't respond in time. The engines, which had been at near idle power, took precious seconds to spool up. The A320 descended into a forest beyond the runway, striking trees and crashing. Fire broke out immediately. Most passengers escaped through emergency exits, but 3 people died, trapped in the burning wreckage or overcome by smoke and flames. The investigation blamed pilot error, flying too low, too slow, poor decision-making. Captain Asselin was convicted of manslaughter and served prison time. But he and many others claimed the fly-by-wire system failed, that Airbus covered up technical flaws to protect their new aircraft, and that the investigation was rigged. The controversy rages to this day. This is the story of Air France Flight 296Q, 3 people killed in a crash that exposed either catastrophic pilot error or a system failure that was covered up to protect a billion-dollar aircraft program. Part 1. The Airbus A320 Fly-by-Wire Revolution. The New Technology. In 1988, the Airbus A320 represented a revolution in commercial aviation. Fly-by-wire. Traditional aircraft. Pilot controls, yoke, pedals, mechanically connected to flight surfaces. Direct physical linkage. Pilot feels the aircraft directly. Fly-by-wire. Pilot inputs go to computers. Computers interpret the inputs. Computers command the flight surfaces. No direct mechanical connection. The computer can override or modify pilot inputs. Flight envelope protection. Computer won't let pilot exceed safe parameters. The Airbus A320 was the first commercial airliner with full fly-by-wire controls. The promise. Airbus claimed advantages. Safer, computer prevents dangerous maneuvers. More efficient, lighter, no heavy mechanical linkages, easier to fly. The future of aviation. But it was unproven technology in commercial service. The demonstration flight. June 26, 1988, Air Show at Mulhouse, Habsheim. Small airport in Alsace, eastern France. Air Show celebrating the opening. Airbus wanted to showcase the A320, demonstrate its capabilities, impress potential customers and the public. The aircraft. Air France Flight 296Q, Airbus A320-111. Registration FGEKC. Brand new, delivered to Air France just months earlier. One of the first A320s in commercial service. The crew. Captain Michel Asselin, 44. Highly experienced Air France pilot. Over 10,000 flight hours. A320 qualified. Air show experience. Confident, skilled. First Officer Pierre Mazières, experienced co-pilot, also A320 qualified. plus cabin crew. The passengers, 130 people aboard, mostly Air France employees and their families, invited to witness the new aircraft, a special demonstration flight. Families with children, excited to see the A320 perform. Part 2. The plan, a low, slow flyby. The demonstration. The plan, depart Mulhouse Habsheim, perform a low, slow flyby over the runway, showcase the A320's ability to fly slowly and low safely, demonstrate flight envelope protection, then climb away and return to land. Simple, impressive maneuver. The altitude. The approved plan, disputed. Official records suggest flyby at 100 feet altitude, but some sources claimed 30 feet was discussed or implied. This discrepancy is central to the controversy. The speed, slow speed flyby, approximately 130 to 140 knots, about 150 miles per hour, very slow for a jet airliner, near the minimum safe speed, to showcase low-speed handling. The configuration, landing configuration, gear down, flaps extended, slow speed, high drag, high angle of attack, nose up to maintain altitude. This configuration is used for landing, not for sustained flight. 2:45 p.m. The approach. The A320 began its flyby, descending toward the runway, gear down, flaps extended, throttles at near idle power, speed approximately 130 knots, descending to demonstrate altitude. Part 3. The flyby. Too low, too slow. The descent. The A320 descended over the runway, lower than planned or lower than recorded plan. Witnesses on the ground reported it seemed extremely low, some estimated 20 to 30 feet above the runway, far lower than safe for a demonstration. The speed. The aircraft was very slow, near minimum safe speed, high angle of attack, engines at low power, in a configuration designed for landing, not sustained flight. The problem. As the A320 approached the end of the runway, Captain Asaline realized they were too low. Trees ahead at the end of the runway. Needed to climb immediately. Attempted to initiate go-around. The go-around attempt. Captain Asaline pushed throttles to full power, toga, takeoff or go-around, commanded climb, expected the aircraft to respond, but the aircraft didn't climb. Why not? Two competing explanations. Official investigation, pilot error. The engines were at near idle power. Jet engines take time to spool up, to accelerate from idle to full thrust. At low altitude and low speed, those seconds were critical. The aircraft was too low, too slow, with insufficient energy. By the time engines reached full power, it was too late. Alternative theory, system failure. The fly-by-wire system didn't respond correctly to pilot inputs. The engines should have spooled up faster. Something in the flight control laws prevented proper response. The aircraft was in alpha floor protection mode, preventing stall, but this interfered with climb. Technical malfunction or design flaw. The descent. The A320 continued descending, despite pilot commands, despite throttles at full power, sinking toward the trees. 2:45:30 p.m. Impact. The aircraft struck trees beyond the end of the runway, still in landing configuration, wings hitting treetops, fuselage breaking apart, fuel tanks rupturing, fire erupting immediately. The fire. Flames engulfed the wreckage, jet fuel ignited, thick black smoke, heat intense, wreckage scattered through the trees. The evacuation. Passengers and crew scrambled to escape. emergency exits opening, slides deploying, some malfunctioned in the trees, people climbing out broken fuselage, running from the fire, crew helping evacuate, panic, smoke, flames. Most people escaped, 130 people aboard. Most got out within minutes, some with injuries, broken bones, burns, and smoke inhalation, but most survived. The trapped. 3 people didn't escape. 2 passengers died immediately or shortly after, trapped in the wreckage, overcome by smoke, unable to reach exits, burned in the fire. A 3rd victim, a young boy, died later from injuries sustained in the crash, died in hospital. Total 3 dead, over 50 injured. The victims, those who died, passengers who'd come to witness a demonstration, a special flight that became their last, killed in a crash that shouldn't have happened. Part 5. The Investigation. Pilot Error versus System Failure. The official investigation, French authorities, BEA, Bureau of Enquêtes and Analyses, examined the wreckage, analyzed flight recorders, black boxes, interviewed survivors and witnesses, reviewed procedures and regulations. The official conclusion, pilot error. The BEA report blamed Captain Assouline. The findings: 1. Flew too low, descended to 30 feet instead of planned 100 feet, violated safe operating parameters, reckless decision. 2. Flew too slow, speed too low for safe flight in that configuration, insufficient energy to climb. 3. Delayed go-around, should have initiated climb earlier, waited too long, when he finally applied power, too late. 4. Engines at idle too long, engines need time to spool up from idle. This delay caused the crash. Pilot's responsibility to manage engine power. 5. Poor planning, insufficient preparation for the demonstration, didn't adequately familiarize with the airport, didn't account for trees at runway end. Verdict: pilot error, reckless flying, manslaughter. The criminal trial. Captain Assouline charged: involuntary manslaughter, reckless endangerment. Convicted in 1992, sentenced to prison, initially 6 months, later reduced. Lost pilot's license, career destroyed, life ruined. First Officer Mazières also convicted, lesser charges, suspended sentence. Part 6. The controversy, cover-up allegations. Captain Assouline's defense. Assouline has always maintained: 1. The aircraft didn't respond. He commanded go-around, applied full power. Aircraft should have climbed. Something in the fly-by-wire system prevented proper response. 2. The altitude was approved. He claims 30 feet was discussed and approved. The 100-foot plan was added to records after the crash to make him look reckless. 3. The engines didn't spool up properly. They should have responded faster. Something was wrong with the system. 4. Black box tampering. Claims the flight data recorder was manipulated. Data showing system failures removed. Evidence destroyed or altered. The alternative theory. Supporters of Assouline claim Airbus cover-up. The A320's fly-by-wire system had a flaw. The alpha floor protection mode, when speed is very low and angle of attack is high, prioritized preventing stall over climbing. This prevented the engines from spooling up quickly enough. Why cover it up? The A320 was Airbus's flagship product, billions of dollars at stake. Admitting a flaw would destroy sales. Easier to blame the pilot, protect the technology, sacrifice Assouline. The evidence disputes. Specific claims. 1. The black box. Some claim the original flight data recorder showed system anomalies, was replaced or data altered. The CVR, cockpit voice recorder, allegedly stopped recording before impact. Suspicious. 2. The altitude approval. Documents showing approval for 30-foot flyby allegedly existed, then disappeared, replaced with 100-foot plan. 3. Witness testimony. Some witnesses support Asseline's version, others support official investigation, conflicting accounts. 4. Technical experts. Some aviation experts have questioned the A320's response, suggest the flight control laws could have caused the problem. Others defend Airbus. The debate. 2 camps. Camp 1, official version. Pilot error, pure and simple. Asseline flew recklessly. Too low, too slow. Paid the price. Trying to blame the aircraft. Camp 2, cover-up. System failure. Airbus and French authorities conspired. Evidence manipulated. Asseline scapegoated. Innocent pilot destroyed to protect corporate interests. The truth, we may never know definitively. Part 7. The Legacy and Lessons. The A320. Despite the controversy, the A320 became one of the most successful aircraft in history. Thousands built. Excellent safety record overall. Fly-by-wire became standard across the industry. The technology worked. But the Habsheim crash remains a dark mark. The reforms. Post-crash changes. 1. Airshow regulations. Stricter rules for demonstration flights. Minimum altitudes enforced. Better planning requirements. Less risky maneuvers. 2. Fly-by-wire understanding. Better training on flight control laws. Pilots need to understand how computers will respond. Mode awareness critical. 3. Go-around procedures. Emphasis on early power application. Don't wait until last second. Maintain energy in low-altitude flight. Captain Asseline. After conviction, served reduced prison sentence, lost everything, has spent decades fighting to clear his name, written books, given interviews, maintains innocence. Some support him, many don't. The victims, the 3 who died, largely forgotten in the controversy. Debate focuses on pilot versus system, but 3 people lost their lives. Families suffered. Their deaths deserve remembrance. Conclusion. On June 26, 1988, Air France 296Q, an Airbus A320 performing a demonstration flight at an air show in France, crashed into trees after a low-altitude flyby. Captain Michel Asseline flew the aircraft at just 30 feet above the runway at very low speed. When he attempted to climb, the aircraft didn't respond in time. It descended into a forest and caught fire. 3 people died, trapped in the burning wreckage. Over 50 were injured. The official investigation blamed pilot error, flying too low, too slow, poor decision-making. Captain Asseline was convicted of manslaughter. But Asseline claims the fly-by-wire system failed, that the aircraft didn't respond to his commands, that Airbus covered up technical flaws, that evidence was manipulated. The truth remains disputed. Was it reckless pilot error or a system failure covered up to protect a billion-dollar aircraft program? We may never know. Rest in peace to the 3 victims of Air France 296Q. You came to witness a demonstration of new technology. You died when an aircraft crashed into trees at an air show. You deserved better. You deserved safe demonstrations. You deserved to go home. June 26, 1988. 3 people killed when an A320 crashed at Habsheim. A tragedy shrouded in controversy. Pilot error or cover-up? The debate continues. Never forgotten. As always, thank you to all my Patreon patrons. You make this channel possible. The Fear Files posts videos covering true stories from history. The channel is made possible by supporters on Patreon and YouTube channel members. Huge thanks to everyone who supports this channel. If you found this documentary informative, please like and subscribe to the channel. Your support makes this content possible.